Hi everyone, my name is Anita Sharma and welcome back on Import Hub Media. I'm sure you're not going to trust me that an academician can also become a non-conformist and can also take a road less traveled. Professor Satish is one such example who quit his IIM job and now currently working at IBS Hyderabad in the area of finance as associate professor. He is an amazing researcher who has written more than 12 A category publications in finance area, and he is known for his charm, his coolness, and his happy faces. I'm lucky to have worked with him when we were in Amritsar together, and he is going to share about his journey, about his experience of writing a research paper, reading a research paper. He always advised me that, ma'am, your paper should speak for you in front of viewers because your paper is going to defend it for you, nobody else. Before I welcome Professor Satish, I request you all to please subscribe to this channel and post your comments in the comment box if you have any. I'm very happy, and as you know, that Inkpot Hub is a platform to celebrate research. So today we are going to celebrate your research journey.
Thank you so much. Actually, I had never thought that I'll be able to do PhD in my lifetime because had it not been the times which were tough around 2008 and 9, had I not got my appointment letter from the company I was selected for after I finished my MBA in 2008 and 9, so I would never had the opportunity of being where I am today. So yes, thanks to the global financial crisis, it was indeed a blessing in disguise. I have been a BSc graduate in genetics in Kurukshetra University, which was not so promising as far as the career prospects were concerned. So I went for doing an MBA. Now coming back to my PhD interest, it has been a very fulfilling journey so far. After finishing my PhD in 2014, I was more or less confined to the area of currency futures, which happened to be my core area of PhD. However, thanks to many of my co-authors who gave me the opportunity to work in different areas, for example, corporate finance, market microstructure, commodity market, energy markets, and so on, I think so far I have been able to build a diversified portfolio as far as my research interests are concerned. But when I look back, I had never thought that I would be doing a PhD. But during my MBA days, I used to teach my fellow colleagues. So they told me, you can be a good teacher. But that was like, it's okay, I may be a good teacher, but never thought that I'll be a doctor one day and then teaching students indeed. And when I look back, it was a very good experience, very good journey so far. So no regrets, all happiness.
So I'm glad that you said so that a researcher is happy.
Yes, I'm actually happy. Yes.
So generally what happens is a research is a lone journey. So people are generally not liking it. But then coming from a horse's mouth like you, it's like I think it's going to motivate a lot of people that if you want to be happy, be a professor. If you want to be happy, be a researcher. So it's a great thing.
Yes. And I keep getting call from my many students who are in the corporates. They keep asking me, sir, what is the procedure of me getting into a PhD program? So because they want to have a life like me, how can somebody be so cool who is doing PhD? And not only me, I see many people like me who are very happy in academics. You being one of those examples.
Yeah, so, thank you. I was very happy. Okay, so I also want to know about your journey to Australia for your 1 year experience during your PhD program. What was it all about?
My journey to Australia has been a very nice experience. I still remember the day when I went to Australia and I have to meet my supervisor, my mentor, Professor Stephen, whom I had a lot of phone call interviews before I left for Australia. They wanted to test my skills, they wanted to test my research potential. So I had spoken to him only on phone before I reached there. But the day I met him, that guy went around the campus to arrange a room for me. And I still remember that day, somebody who is a professor designation and is looking for somebody who is coming from India as a research scholar and is giving him so much attention. Can you make him an ID card? Can you make him an access card? Can you make him arrange a room for him to sit somewhere? And I was so inspired that this is how a professor is. The rank doesn't matter. The caring that they have for their students, the emotions that they connect with. And every time when I used to interact with him, always he used to say, what do you think? What do you think? He used to give my opinions a lot of importance. And then at times I used to feel embarrassed, but he told me, No, see, research is something which evolves when two minds interact with each other. So no matter how young you are in terms of your career, I can always learn from you, and that's what I have learned from him. So a lot of my success, if there is some in terms of my research, I owe to him. So had it not been for me to visit Australia during 2011-12, I do not think I would have been able to build a portfolio of research that I have today. So much thanks to my guide, Professor Stephen. So it was a nice journey.
Okay, so after your PhD, you joined back IBS Hyderabad.
Yes, it was a system in which we had a contract of 8 years. So once you finish your PhD, you will be internally absorbed as a faculty, which was again good for us because many PhD students, be there in IIMs or IITs, they have to hunt for a job once they are done with their PhD. So which was not the case with me. The moment I finished my PhD and finished my 8 years contract with IBS, I was already done with 3 years of experience. So it was easy for me to move and find a new job, which eventually happened in terms of getting the job in IIM Amritsar in 2017. So that worked in my favor actually.
Okay, so how was your experience at IIM Amritsar?
So the experience was nice. Coming out from a private institute, then going to an IIM, the aspirations were really high, and the kind of atmosphere I got. I would say the biggest learning for me was in terms of, in such a young age, I got certain chair. I joined there in October, and within 1 week, I was given the research chair. I don't think how much justice I could do to that chair, but eventually once my 1 year got over, then they gave me the admissions chair. So at this young age, along with, because before I joined IIM, I was purely a teacher and a scholar and kind of researcher. I didn't have that kind of admin quotient in me. But after joining IIM Amritsar, I'm very thankful to Professor Kulbhushan Baluni, who was the director in charge at that time. Being part of new IIM, being one of the founding faculties, like you were one of there. So it was a very fulfilling experience. Professionally, I was very happy.
And then you made a decision to quit.
That is the question many people have asked me. It is not that I was not willing to stay at IIM Amritsar. However, it was my family responsibility which took a priority in my life. In July 19 last year, when I quit my job, many people advised me to think wisely, to think again. Almost all of them told me that I'm making a big mistake by quitting a regular IIM job, a job which many are aspiring for. I shouldn't say that they were wrong. They were my well-wishers. But I had to take a decision. And I'm very proud of the fact that IBS Hyderabad PhD program is very rigorous, and it had made me so much capable that I was the only faculty at IIM Amritsar who had no IIT or IIM background, be it in terms of doing a PhD, be it in terms of having some teaching experience. So I would thank the rigorous PhD program at IBS, which made me that worthy of being chosen at a place where no other faculty was of that background.
So I attribute this thing to your research profile.
And I attribute it to the interaction with Professor Stephen and the kind of competitive environment we had at IBS. So when I started doing research after my PhD was over, I became addicted to doing research. And I used to love doing research. Every week I used to browse my emails, I used to check the status of my papers. How many are in the pipeline, how many are accepted, how many are rejected, how to work on the rejected ones, how to revise the articles which have come for a revision. So it was a kind of addiction. And I still remember that one of the professors at IIM Amritsar told me, your research has taken you places. So it doesn't matter which place you are. If you have that fire in you, you can do research at any place. So the biggest learning of me joining IIM and quitting it later is that if you have it in you, you can still make it big no matter what background you have. There are people out there who are seeking talented people, not where they come from. So their background is of least importance. So I came back to IBS Hyderabad after quitting Amritsar, and with the same belief, when my wife got an opportunity to do her PhD from IBS Hyderabad, it was my turn to return the favors which she had been extending to me over for almost last 10 years, even the time I didn't have stable jobs. So it was my pleasure to come back to Hyderabad and reunite with my family. I'm a happy guy now.
You have always been very happy, and I have seen,
Yes.
I witnessed those things when we were in Amritsar, and I still remember you came to my office and you told me that, ma'am, आपसे पहले मैं चला जाऊंगा, and I was like, no, it is my turn to quit earlier than anybody
We had
else.
it for almost 1 week. 1 week, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, tell me more about your future research plans.
Uh, Many people say that okay, future research plans are in terms of the. It's one of those questions which always make me very excited the moment I hear anything about research. So my strategy to research is to write. So the key word here is write. Writing an engaging story, engaging the audience, engaging the editor, engaging the reviewers of the paper. So I think the biggest learning in my small career I have had is to write. To give you a small example, I happened to visit Macquarie, as we just spoke about. I was in Macquarie University in 2011. So what happened is, in 11 we were working on a paper, and I sent him one of the drafts when I thought the paper is ready from my side, and he told me, I'll get back to you, give me some time. The moment I received that paper, and it was all colorful in terms of track changes, and I thought he has beaten my paper to death. I have to kind of redo it. But when I took all the revisions, I incorporated all the comments and eventually found out, I compared the two drafts, the one that I sent to him and then the one that I received from him. I found one similarity and few differences. The similarity was, his version said the same thing that I said. But the way his version was written, it was more convincing, more connecting. It was so clear. I was amazed. So eventually that paper happened to be the first A-class paper of my career till date, which I'm very proud of. So after I developed that paper, I went back and I went through the profile of Professor Stephen and many other researchers like him. I read their articles. And when I read their articles, this time I changed my style of reading. I shifted from what the authors are saying, what they are doing, what their gap is, what their contribution is, what their methodologies are. I didn't give any single importance to all these points. I read all the papers in a way how they are written.
Okay.
What is it that these papers have that I do not have today? So what I found is that many of the papers which are written in good journals, they do not have a tough language. What many people try to do just to make their paper more fancy, more stylish, they try to include some words which many people have to go and look into a dictionary. But you have to make the paper in such a way that even if an MBA students have the opportunity to go through that paper, can they connect? So after that time, along with, yes, there are few scholars who would say, yes, methodology is very important, finding the gaps is very important, learning the new softwares is very important. They may be right, but my style of doing research is, how do you connect it? How do you make sure that the reader is on the same page that you are on? So the moment the reader, the editor, the reviewer reads your paper, do they get the same click, the one that you had while you were writing the paper? When I send my paper to a referee, to an editor, I am not there to defend my case. My work is there. My work should speak on my behalf in my absence. And you need to learn that ability to convince the editor, even if you're not there physically. And that will happen only when you have read a lot of literature, then you have written it well. I used to give my articles to my wife to read, and she had no experience of research or the technical stuff. And I used to ask her, don't pay attention to all the technical stuff, all the jargons and all I've read. Are you able to get the basic idea of the paper? Are you able to get that connection out of that article? And believe me, she has been my biggest critique. And by the way, whose wife is not? So the moment I got a green signal, and she said, I used to ask her once she was done with the entire paper, have you read it? I used to ask her questions. So what is my idea? What I'm trying to communicate? Do you think it will make sense to somebody who has no exposure to finance? And once she says yes, so I used to get half the confidence. Yes, my paper should at least not be desk rejected. So that is the learning. So no matter what you do, no matter how you do it, what matters the most is how you communicate it to the world. So that is what I have learned, because over a small time of my career, I have seen many good papers, despite having good methodologies, despite having good ideas, many having used such advanced data sets, they face huge rejections purely because of the fact that they are not written well.
Mhm.
So I won't say I have understood all the methodologies, I have understood all the softwares, I have the access to all the data. I won't say all those things. What I have learned is how to write. The moment you have that thing in you, so no, though not all may agree with me because they have their own style of writing a paper, but my style of writing a paper is, can I engage the audience? Can I force them to flip over the next page? Will they
So
like your reading?
I still remember in one of the research presentations you made in Amritsar, the way you delivered. I think all 9 of us, we actually received the content which you were trying to say, the way you wanted to say it to us. And
And
it was a finance paper, and I'm not a finance person, you know it. So it's like I was able to grab it, grasp it, and then sink in it completely. And that it is very, very important for us to make that first connection with the audience, so that the audience is ready to flip the next page or ready to listen to you in the next minute as well. So I'm sure that is a very wise advice, which I think other researchers also need to see. Okay, sir, because you have made your decision to go back to IBS Hyderabad and left your job, so-called aspirational job of IIM, do you think that it is going to impact the career and research in the future?
Many people say it's a good idea to be associated with an institute of brand for you to have a good career. They might be right, but I'm somebody who disagrees with this notion. But believe me, being at a place where your heart belongs, nothing can be more nice than that. Never happens. See, at a very young age, it's very natural for scholars to get distracted in terms of that this place is better, that place is better. But how do you define which place is better? People are in a rat race to be at a better place. They have forgotten how to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Staying at a place can't make you happy unless you are happy from within. So you can be happy anywhere when you think you are doing a work up to your satisfaction, which you can do from anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It has no limitations, it has no boundaries, it has no brand. So happiness doesn't come from a brand. It comes from what good work you do.
Correct.
How do you make people happy? How do you bring smile in their lives? So doing research, teaching, being administrator are one part of the life. Being a good human being, making students happy, making your colleagues happy, keeping something for the community, these are the things that make you happy. A brand may take a second place sometimes.